Hi, my name is Bobby Rush. My real name is Emmett Ellis Jr. Marcel is my great great nephew. I want to talk about him for a minute because I want you to know, and everybody in our city, and everybody at the college who may be listening to me talk about him, just for you also. I want to talk about where I started, where I come from. First of all, I've been recording this year for 64, 65 years. I've been performing for about 6 to 7 years. I've been recording from back in 1951 to now, and I recorded 377 records. So let's talk about a few things about Bobby Rush. This coming from me as being a Ellis, and I'm Bobby Rush professionally.
All right. So this is from Zach, Morgan, and Emily. You've had an amazing career. What has been one of your most memorable performances?
I think one of the most remember, I had so many, but I can remember one time that I and Tina Turner came to Rock Island, Illinois, but must have been 53, 54. I've been performing before that time, but having them on the show with me and with Little Richard, and he invited me on, and I was opening an act with them. That was that was it, man. They introduced me to this fame of being famous, and that was I remember that like I remember nothing else. And so many, but that one in time got me started. That got the bug to rolling.
From Raylan and Ben, who are some musical influences for you?
Oh God, I got so many. From the Muddy Waters, the B.B. King, the Lightning Hockman, the Bobby Bland, Little Milton, Ray Charles, Jane Brown, and many, many. I could name you hundreds of them, but Louis Jordan was the guy who intrigued me in his writing. He all wrote it right. He write about the things I could understand, what I relate to, chicken, dog, cows, and monkeys, and what have you, buzzards. And he always talked about things that I relate to as a country boy. So I got so many guys. Little Walter, I liked him as a harmonica player. He was so swift. Chuck Berry, I liked him as a guitar player because he was so uh, dapper with what he did on the stage. Muddy Water, I like the way he dressed. I like a lot of guys, uh, what they did and what they do. Because when you listen to my music, you can hear all the elements that other guys do. I take a little of this, a little of that, and a little of this, and put it all together, and you stir it up. You got a Bobby Rush.
From Megan, Ellie, and Brooke, how would you describe the blues to someone who had never heard it before?
Oh God! If you never heard the blues before, you can't hardly describe the blues to a person who never heard it before. All you can do is do it and hope they understand it. And most people can understand the blues because the blues is true music of any music you want to hear. We talk about what it is, talk about what you wish for, you talk about what you wish it would have been, coulda, would have been, and a whole bit. The blues is no, blues is something you don't have to cry, or you don't have to smile, or you don't have to uh, be so happy all the time. It's just part of life. Because the same thing makes you laugh, the same thing makes you cry. So it's hard to describe blues to anyone, but blues is something you're born with. You're born with the blues. It's something you feel, it's something you eat, it's in your gut, it's in your grits, you know, and that's the blues, man.
So, from Olivia, Ryan, and Allison, how much has the blues changed since you've been involved with it?
Well, let me tell you, blues is have been here from the beginning. It's one of the oldest form of music in the world. It's like the Bible because all things have changed, but yet it remains the same. It's a different approach. The blues have changed this way because now you got the black guy was singing the blues. Now you got the white guy singing the blues, and it's making the blues bigger and introducing it to the whole world. now the blues is bigger than it ever been. But only problem about it, most guys who doing the blues now not telling where the blues come from. I have a little problem with that. But as long as they tell where it's come from, it doesn't matter who do it, because the blues is the blues regardless who sang it or who do it, who plays it. Just tell where it's come from. That's my take on with the blues.
So we're going to go a little off script. Can you talk about, every decade has a bit of a different emphasis musically. There's different genres that kind of rise to the top in different periods of music that may have had an influence or impact on the blues. For example, disco kind of changed how artists approached blues or approached whatever musical genre they were in at the time. Can you talk about disco or any other period of music, of pop music, that had an influence on what bluesmen were doing, including yourself?
Yeah, I can talk on it because, see, the blues is the root of all music. I don't care if it's Snoop Dogg doing it. When he do his blues, he do it how he relate to it. The jazz do the blues like they relate to you, because it's all about the music. It's all about what you feel. It's all about life and living, what you relate to, what you're doing, what you're going through, and the whole bit. Because it's not that much different in the country western. You do a little yodeling. You talk about making love, being in love, what you want, what you don't have, where you like to go, what you can't go, where you're being, where you're going. We talk about the same thing. Music is music. Is one thing for sure about music. It's the link to love. Music about love. And the blues are the root of all music. If you don't like the blues, you probably don't like your mama.
Beautiful. So here's a question from Zach, Morgan, and Emily. What is your advice to aspiring musicians?
Learn the business. To Zach, learn the business. Be good at what you do. And look in the mirror and say, and be honest with yourself. You're either good or you're not. It's no lukewarm in music. You have to be good at what you do. Learn the business. Be good at what you do. That's what I strive to do, because my motto is that I'm good at what I do. You may not like what I sing. I like me as a person, but you can say, I don't like old Bobby Rush, but damn, he good. That's all what matters. Be good.
So you mentioned business, and this is for students who are freshmen in college, right, and they're, pursuing whatever path they want to pursue. Business is an important element of your career. What have been some of the lessons that you've learned or elements that you've kept as a part of your day-to-day work in the blues, which involves the business as well?
Well, I recommend the people to learn all they can learn about it, but I don't recommend you to come the road that I came, because I learned most of what I learned through mistrials and mistreated, misled. Try to learn where you will get mistreated, misled, and misguided. I was misguided. I was underpaid. Didn't get I didn't get represented well in what I was doing, because what I was doing, people took it as a joke, like I was a clown doing what I'm doing. So I recommend people who learn what they're doing, do what you do, learn the business of it, and try to associate yourself with people who have your best interest. And listen, what you got to do, you got to look through the business and see the person who you're doing business with, and make sure they have your best interest. Because otherwise, you just be thrown by the wayside. You're wasting your time. But one thing for sure, don't give up. Because you have the little rocks and roll, you may fall and you may not know what you need to know, but keep trying. If you fall, dust yourself off and get up, try it again. And you learn, because that's what I learned. And I'm telling you, you don't have to fall to learn like I did. You can do what you have to do and learn before you fall. So when you do fall, you know how to get up and be a better man or woman.
Make sure you read all your contracts.
Yeah, you got to read your contract. You got to read your contract, plus you got to know You got to know what you want, what you can't want, what you don't want, what you can do, what you cannot do before you read the contract. Because the contract may say one thing, sometimes it could be almost impossible to fill the contract if you don't know what you can do, what you can't do.
All right, that is the end of part 1 of a conversation with legendary bluesman and Grammy Award winner Bobby Rush.